Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Today, it's one of the world's biggest sporting rivalries, with fans from both sides in one stadium.
Today we're talking about India versus Pakistan facing off in a highly anticipated cricket match right in Nassau County.
Behind the rivalry is a painful history. Why this India-Pakistan match is bigger than just cricket. I'm Malika Bilal, and this is The Take. Cricket is the world's second most watched sport, but there's nothing bigger than when India and Pakistan face off. When the two teams played late last year, nearly 400 million people watched in India alone.
It's like Super Bowl on steroids.
This past weekend, India and Pakistan played a match in New York as part of the ongoing T20 Cricket World Cup. And our producer, Ashish Malhotra, a superfan himself, went to the stadium to check it all out.
There's a large crowd gathering at Eisenhower Park in Long Island, New York. For locals, the scene is far from normal. This was just a park a few months ago. But now it's home to a pop-up stadium, the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium. And it's about to host one of the world's biggest sporting events.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Today is India versus Pakistan.
At any international cricket tournament, an India-Pakistan match is the centerpiece. Fans of both teams have traveled from all around the world, and they've shelled out a lot of money to get a seat inside the stadium.
I had it for a while, but
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask how much you paid?
A lot. A lot.
Roughly
In rupees or in dollars?
in dollars.
I'd say probably about $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you think twice about it, or?
I mean, it's an India-Pakistan game in New York.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime.
Pay something like this for a Beyonce concert or a Taylor Swift concert. This is the same thing for us.
Yeah. So this is your Taylor Swift.
This is our Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Well, this is more than a Taylor Swift concert because this is a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah.
You don't get an India-Pakistan game in New York or in the US, a World Cup game. You know, in my lifetime, I never thought that would happen.
Yeah.
So this is more than a Taylor
For some
Swift concert.
fans, this becomes the cost of an entire vacation. So all combined, tickets, hotels, flights, how much have you paid for this?
7,000-8,000 maybe.
But you say it like it's an easy decision.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's worth it.
Why-
The experience. We are both dire cricket fans. I was born in India, so cricket is in my blood.
It's not just in our blood. Cricket in South Asia is like a religion. And as someone who grew up in the diaspora, that was always clear to me whenever we would visit India growing up. I remember the first India-Pakistan match I watched very clearly. I have a very specific memory. It was the 1996 Cricket World Cup. It was a quarterfinal between India and Pakistan.
And this crowd is buzzing here, 55,000 people, and there's a wonderful atmosphere around.
And I remember Pakistan had a player called Mushtaq Ahmed, and I just remember someone throwing the ball to him. And as the camera panned and followed the path of the ball, you could just see the sea of faces behind it. And it just showed you how many people were in that stadium. It was packed. And I think that's the moment that it hit me that, man, India-Pakistan matches are a big deal. And I think other cricket fans have similar memories like that, like my colleague, Tabish Talib.
I was 7 years old. It was 1997. The Pakistan team was touring India. So, it's basically quote-unquote hostile territory, right?
Tabish is a senior producer at AJ+. He's a Pakistani who grew up watching cricket.
My favorite cricket player at the time was Saeed Anwar, who was this left-handed batter, and I'm left-handed. So I really looked up to him.
And Anwar goes here over the top. Again, lovely piece of timing. It's been a superb knock.
And he was in India, and they're playing in Chennai.
At baking hot Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai, India, A one-day semi-final and two fierce rivals were the ingredients.
He keeps batting and batting and batting, and he just doesn't get out.
Well, this man could end up with 200 the way that he's going.
And he scores 194 runs, which at that time was a world record.
And that's very nicely played on the onside to become the highest scorer in one-day cricket. He knows it, and the crowd rise up to cheer him as one. Terrific innings from Syed Anwar.
Like, no one had scored that many runs before. And yeah, I was just so proud to be a Pakistani cricket supporter that day. You know, scoring such a big total against our arch rivals in India. And I think it really cemented my love for the Pakistan cricket team.
Tabish and I both live in New York. So on Sunday, we decided to head over to the stadium together.
The cool thing about this, right, is that since it's in a neutral ground, it's not in India or in Pakistan, you know, people from both countries in the diaspora are able to come and support their team.
Yeah. It's a very unique opportunity. Like, as a Pakistani, as a cricket fan, yeah, I've never been to an India-Pakistan match.
Yeah, me neither.
And in seeing this crowd, and like this mixed crowd, is a very unique opportunity.
I mean, back in the day, like when we were growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, you know, India used to go to Pakistan a lot, play a bunch of matches there, and vice versa.
That changed after the 2008 Mumbai attacks. They were carried out on several sites in the city by a Pakistani armed group, and more than 160 people were killed. Since then, relations between India and Pakistan have gotten worse.
And cricket has been affected by that. They don't have these bilateral, what they call tours, of India going to Pakistan, playing a bunch of matches, Pakistan coming to India, playing a bunch of matches. And so they only play each other now in these big international tournaments, which are usually in a third country.
Yeah, I mean, these are two countries that have fought 3 wars, countless skirmishes, nuclear powers.
Used to be the same country.
Yeah, they used to be the same country. And like, there's a lot of shared history and culture, but also this nationalistic pride that both countries have. It's actually really nice to see that everyone here, like, there's Pakistanis in like the midst of Indian fans, and everyone's just been very chill and showing how the people just enjoy it as a game, even if, you know, politics has been involved in the past, and like cricket diplomacy has been used. It's actually been used as a tool to bring the two countries.
Yeah, it's just the novelty now, since they don't play each other as often, makes an occasion like this even more special.
More with Ashish and Tabish after the break. New York is home to one of the largest Indian and Pakistani diasporas in the U.S. So not everyone was able to get into the stadium of 34,000 people to watch the match. That includes our producers, Tabish and Ashish.
So we had to go somewhere else to watch the match, at a different stadium, 20 miles away.
We've come to Citi Field now instead, which is a baseball stadium in New York, because they're doing a screening, a watch party. There's a giant Jumbotron TV screen. It's the biggest in all of the baseball stadiums in America, so it's a good place to watch the match. They've got some music playing, so yeah, let's check it out.
Inside the stadium, fans were mostly divided into 2 halves, a Pakistani side and an Indian side.
I've come down with Tabish here, and we're sitting basically in a sea of green, because basically we've ended up in a section that's mainly Pakistan fans.
I was the only India fan in that section, which was a bit of a problem when Pakistan started dominating the early stages of the match.
So Virat Kohli, the star player of India, just got out. The Pakistan fans are pretty excited about it.
But Pakistan is known for being a bit of an unreliable team, especially when they play India in big tournaments. So even when they were on top, Tabish was a bit worried.
Pakistan and India actually have a pretty competitive score head to head. They've been pretty even.
Yeah.
But for some reason in World Cups, India just beats Pakistan all the time. And
you beat us once.
We beat
2
us
years ago.
Yeah. That was.
But otherwise, it's like 8-1 or something.
And in big tournaments, India seems to step up, and the Pakistani team seems to collapse. But the thing about Pakistan is it's the most unpredictable team, and you don't know which Pakistan's going to show up.
We sat in the India section later as well. But as we moved around between the two sections, Tabish and I were struck by the same thought, that the two countries playing this match weren't even different countries until 1947.
The sections of the divide, I mean, I think it's a good metaphor for these two countries and how they were formed and the people that make up that country. Because, my personal background, I was born in Pakistan, but my grandparents, all four of them, are from the state of Bihar in India. And two of them migrated before partition, and two of them migrated after partition. And that's true for my background, that's true for your background too, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, but, what happened over there? There we go. Yeah, it's the same with me. 3 of my 4 grandparents were born in what's now Pakistan and, migrated over around the time of partition. So it's just really ironic that I identify as Indian, I support the Indian cricket team, you identify clearly as Pakistani and support the Pakistan team, but our family backgrounds are actually from the opposite sides. And that'll be the case for a lot of people here.
The shared history between the two countries means that the people have a lot in common. And we saw that at the stadium on Sunday.
There's a lot of banter and India chants and Pakistan chants, but there's a lot of camaraderie there, and people are speaking Hindi or similar languages.
It's similar. That's the thing. It's there's a divide, obviously, and it plays out more, I'd say, in India and Pakistan, where people who grow up in those countries don't necessarily meet people from the other side. But for those of us who have grown up in the diaspora, we actually grow up in a way where we see all those similarities a lot, and we realize that we actually, compared to sort of the mainstream society in that country, we actually have so much more in common than we do perhaps with other communities, and we grow up, kind of side by side. I definitely still are, people who discriminate one way or the other. But, for me personally, some of my best friends are Pakistani that I've grown up with here in the US, and I'm sure it's similar for you.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in high school, there wasn't, growing up around Indians, there wasn't this idea of oh, I'm Indian, you're Pakistani. There's a shared culture, really.
But there's still a game to win. And Tabish's concerns about the Pakistan team seem to be coming true.
So right now the match has gotten very close. Ashish has gone over to the Indian side. I'm here on the Pakistani side. And things are tense right now. It could go either way. It seems like the winds are shifting in India's favor, unfortunately.
A few minutes later, things get even worse for Pakistan.
Pakistan is probably going to lose this match. It's pretty impossible for Pakistan to win. The Pakistani crowd is standing up and emptying out now. It's seems like they've given up on the match. It's a match that Pakistan should have won and lost. It's I think a lot of people are very disappointed.
But on the Indian side, where I was, the mood was completely different.
About half an hour ago, it looked like India had no chance. And everything's changed. And now, it looks like we're about to win. And as you can see, everyone's going pretty crazy about it.
And then, the final moment.
India just won. Looking at the big screen, one of the Pakistan players is in tears. I mean, it just shows how much this means.
The celebrations were still going as I met a defeated Tabish outside the stadium.
What happened, man? I don't understand.
I told you, I was scared.
I don't know.
Pakistan has the ability to.
But what did
collapse
they
on
do?
itself.
Like, why did they just stop scoring?
They were never scoring. It was just like random runs here and there. They never hit the boundaries.
Very strange.
Pakistan lost a match they should have won. It was, as one person I overheard say, the expected result. We got our hopes up in the middle, and then our hopes got crushed. And as a Pakistan fan, that's life in general.
And that's The Take. This episode was produced by Ashish Malhotra, Tabish Talib, and Tamara Khandaker, with Doha Mossad, Chloe K. Lee, and me, Malika Bilal. It was edited by Noor Wazwaz. Alex Roldan is our sound designer. Alexandra Locke is The Take's executive producer, and Ney Alvarez is Al Jazeera's head of audio. We'll be back tomorrow.